When you opened your eyes this morning, something powerful happened that you may not have even recognized before your feet touched the floor, before your phone lit up with notifications, before your mind replayed yesterday's worries. Heaven already made a declaration over your life. That declaration was simple but life-changing. You are still needed. You are still chosen. You are still called. The fact that you are breathing is not accidental. The fact that your heart is beating is not random. You are alive because God has unfinished business with you. Some people went to sleep last night and never woke up. Some had plans, dreams, and conversations they thought they would continue today, but today never came for them. Yet you are here. You are conscious. You are aware. You have another chance. That alone should shift the way you see this day. You did not wake up because you were lucky. You did not wake up because you deserved it. You woke up because mercy decided to give you one more opportunity to step into purpose. There are moments when you look at your life and feel like nothing is working. You examine your progress and wonder if you are too far behind. You compare yourself to others and start believing the lie that you missed your moment. But God does not measure your life the way people do. He does not judge your worth by speed, status, or applause. He judges your life by assignment. And as long as you are breathing, your assignment is still active. You may feel broken, but broken things can still be used. You may feel weak, but weakness is not disqualification. You may feel confused, but confusion does not cancel calling. God never said you had to be perfect to be purposeful. He never said you had to have everything figured out before He could use you. He only requires availability. He only requires surrender. He only requires trust. Every morning you wake up is God saying, I still believe in you. It is God saying, I have not given up on you. It is God saying, your past mistakes are not greater than my future plans. If your story were over, you would not be here. If your chapter had ended, you would not have breath in your lungs. Some of you are carrying shame over things you wish you could undo. Some of you are carrying regret over choices you cannot change. But God is not asking you to relive yesterday. He is inviting you to step into today. Today is a fresh page. Today is a new opportunity. Today is a moment filled with possibility. The enemy wants you to believe that you are done, finished, and forgotten. But the very fact that you woke up proves that is a lie. God is not finished shaping you. God is not finished healing you. God is not finished elevating you. God is not finished revealing His glory through your life. So when your eyes open in the morning, let your first thought be gratitude. Let your first response be worship. Let your first confession be faith. Say to yourself, I am alive for a reason. I am here on purpose. God still has a plan for me because every new morning is heaven's announcement that your life still matters and your destiny is still in motion. Praise is not something you wait to feel. Praise is something you decide to release. If you only praise when life feels good, then praise becomes a reaction. But when you praise in the middle of pain, confusion, and disappointment, praise becomes a declaration. It becomes your way of telling God, I trust you even when I don't understand you. It becomes your way of telling heaven, My faith is not built on circumstances. My faith is built on who you are. There are days when everything lines up. The bills are paid, the body feels strong, the family is at peace. On those days, praise feels easy, but then there are other days when nothing makes sense. The door you prayed for stays closed. The healing you asked for hasn't shown up yet. The answer you were expecting turns into silence. Those are the moments that reveal what kind of believer you truly are. Anyone can praise when the sun is shining. Real faith praises when the storm is raging. Choosing praise is an act of spiritual maturity. It means you refuse to let your emotions control your worship. It means you refuse to let disappointment dictate your devotion. It means you make a conscious decision to honor God regardless of how you feel. You may not feel strong, but you praise anyway. You may not feel hopeful, but you praise anyway. You may not feel joyful, but you praise anyway, because praise is not about feelings. Praise is about faith. When you choose praise, you are making a bold statement in the spirit realm. You are saying God is still good. You are saying God is still faithful. You are saying God is still in control. Even when your life looks out of control, your praise declares that God has not lost his throne. Some people think praise is pretending everything is fine, but praise is not denial. Praise is defiance. It is defiance against fear, defiance against doubt, defiance against despair. It is you standing in the face of adversity and saying, you will not steal my worship. You will not steal my hope. You will not steal my confidence in God. Choosing praise does not mean you don't feel pain. It means you refuse to let pain have the final word. Choosing praise does not mean you ignore your problems. It means you acknowledge that God is bigger than your problems. Choosing praise does not mean you understand what God is doing. It means you trust that whatever he is doing is working for your good. Every time you praise instead of complain, your faith grows. Every time you praise instead of worry, your spirit becomes stronger. Every time you praise instead of quit, you move one step closer to breakthrough. Praise shifts your focus from what is wrong to who is right. It lifts your eyes from the storm to the Savior. God is not moved by perfect performances. He is moved by sincere hearts. When you choose praise with tears in your eyes and weakness in your body, heaven pays attention. When you lift your hands, even though you feel empty, God sees it. When you whisper a thank you, even though nothing has changed yet, God honors it. Praise is your way of saying, God, I may not see it yet, but I believe you're working, and faith like that never goes unrewarded. Setbacks are not the end of your story. They are not proof that God has forgotten you or that your life has lost meaning. Setbacks are part of the process. They are part of the refining, shaping, and strengthening that prepares you for the breakthrough that is coming. Every obstacle, every disappointment, every delay carries a message. You are being prepared for something greater than you can see right now. The pain may feel heavy. The delay may feel endless, but every setback is a setup in disguise. God is using what feels like failure to position you for victory. When life pushes you backward, it is not to destroy you, it is to redirect you. Some of the most successful people, the most resilient hearts, And the most powerful testimonies have all come from people who refused to quit when doors closed. They refused to give in when their plans fell apart. They refused to let discouragement define them. You may feel defeated today, but defeat is not permanent. Being knocked down does not mean being knocked out. You may be in the pit, but the pit is not your final home. The pit is where God teaches patience, builds character, and strengthens faith. Many of us have been measuring our progress by how fast things happen or how smooth the journey looks. We see others succeeding, advancing, and flourishing, and we begin to feel like we have missed our chance. But God's timing is never the same as man's timing. What feels like delay to you is preparation in God's eyes. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to develop the resilience that will sustain you when your breakthrough arrives. Setbacks are training grounds for endurance. They are rehearsal stages for the glory that is coming. It is important to remember that setbacks are never permanent unless you allow them to be. You have a choice in how you respond. You can stay discouraged, bitter, and stagnant, or you can rise with determination, faith, and hope. You can allow setbacks to define you, or you can allow them to refine you. The difference is in perspective. The difference is in your response. The difference is in believing that God's plan for your life is greater than the problem in front of you. Some setbacks are opportunities to reset your priorities. Some are opportunities to reevaluate your path. Some are opportunities to lean on God more than you ever have before. When doors close, God may be preparing a door you cannot yet see. When plans fail, God may be redirecting you toward a plan you never imagined. When disappointment comes, God may be preparing a level of joy that surpasses your expectations. You are not defined by the setbacks you encounter. You are defined by how you respond. Every setback you overcome becomes a testimony. Every obstacle you conquer becomes a story of God's faithfulness. Every disappointment you endure becomes a witness to your resilience. So when you face delays, failures, or obstacles, remember that these are not signs of defeat. They are signs that something greater is being prepared. Setbacks are temporary, but the lessons, strength, and victory that come from them are eternal. What the enemy meant for harm, God will turn for your good. Every setback is a setup for your breakthrough, and your breakthrough is coming. Even if it feels far away, keep trusting, keep believing, and keep moving forward, because your destiny is still alive. And nothing can stop what God has planned for you. Praise is not just an act of gratitude. It is a powerful weapon that can shift atmospheres and change the course of your life. When you lift your voice in worship, even in the midst of trials, you are doing more than just speaking words. You are releasing a force that moves heaven and disrupts the plans of the enemy. Praise invites God into situations that seem impossible. It confuses the enemy who thrives on fear and doubt, and it opens doors that human effort cannot unlock. The very act of worship carries supernatural power, and those who understand this principle experience breakthroughs that defy logic. Many of us underestimate the authority we carry when we praise. We wait for circumstances to improve before we lift our hands, thinking that praise depends on favorable conditions. But in truth, Praise is most powerful when it rises from a place of struggle. When you choose to honor God despite setbacks, you are declaring that your faith is greater than your fear, that your trust is greater than your worry, and that your hope is anchored in God, not in the temporary circumstances around you. This is the kind of praise that shifts atmospheres and changes the spiritual climate of your life. Praise does not just change your perspective, it changes your reality. When you focus on the goodness of God rather than the challenges in front of you, your heart begins to align with heaven, chains begin to break, doors begin to open, and strength returns to your spirit. Praise pulls divine intervention into situations where human solutions have failed. It acts as a magnet for miracles, drawing God's favor, provision, and guidance into your life. The very environment you are in, whether filled with opposition or difficulty, cannot remain the same when praise rises from a heart that refuses to quit. Furthermore, praise is a declaration of trust. It is your way of saying to God, I may not see the way, but I know you are working. I may not feel strong, but I trust your strength. I may not understand your timing, but I believe your timing is perfect. In doing so, praise activates faith and aligns your spirit with the promises of God. It reminds the enemy that you are under divine protection and that nothing, not even impossible circumstances, can overcome the power of God working in your life. Praise is also contagious. When you praise in your home, your workplace, or your community, you release an atmosphere that others can feel. People are drawn to hope, to faith, and to the sense of God's presence that flows from a heart that worships. Your praise has the ability to inspire and encourage others while simultaneously strengthening your own spirit. The impact of worship is not limited to one area. It ripples outward, touching lives, shifting situations, and opening doors for blessings that were previously unseen. Ultimately, praise is more than a habit. It is a lifestyle. It is a continuous declaration of God's power, goodness, and faithfulness. It is the recognition that no matter what you face, God is bigger than every challenge, stronger than every storm, and more faithful than every circumstance. When praise becomes your weapon, your battles become opportunities for testimony, your setbacks become setups for miracles, and your life becomes a living example of God's supernatural power at work. The simple act of lifting your voice in worship can transform despair into hope, weakness into strength, and impossibility into victory. 2026 is not meant to be a year of merely surviving. It is a year of restoration, a season where what has been broken begins to be rebuilt, where what has been lost begins to be recovered, and where what has been delayed begins to arrive at the right time. This is a year in which God is aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities in ways that will bring about your breakthrough. Every closed door, every disappointment, and every delay you experienced in the past is being used to position you for a season of divine favor. What looked like failure is actually preparation. What looked like stagnation is actually set up. What looked like the end is actually the beginning of something greater than you have ever imagined. You may have walked into this year feeling burdened, exhausted, and uncertain. You may have carried wounds from the past that have left you hesitant to trust again, and fears that have made you doubt the future. But 2026 is a year when God is saying, I am not finished with you. I am restoring what has been lost, and I am turning your setbacks into setups. Every tear that fell, every prayer that seemed unanswered, and every effort that seemed wasted is now being transformed into evidence of his faithfulness. You are entering a season where what was delayed will no longer be denied. Restoration often requires patience, and 2026 will teach you how to wait without losing hope. Sometimes the very things you are longing for cannot arrive until you are ready to receive them. God uses the process to refine your character, build your resilience, and strengthen your faith. When restoration comes, it will not just fix what was broken, it will elevate you into a position of greater purpose and influence. You will not simply return to where you were before, you will rise higher, equipped with wisdom, strength, and insight that only the journey could have provided. Divine alignment is also a key feature of this year. God is orchestrating meetings, opening doors, and connecting you with the right people at the right time for the right purpose. Opportunities that were previously inaccessible or invisible will now be within reach. Your vision will begin to clarify, and your path will begin to unfold in ways that confirm God's hand in every detail. Nothing will happen by chance. Every encounter, every resource, and every breakthrough will be a direct result of divine orchestration. This is a year to embrace hope and expect miracles. It is a year to walk boldly into every situation with faith, knowing that restoration and alignment are not just possibilities, they are promises. God is moving in your life in ways that may feel subtle now, but by the end of this season, you will look back and see how perfectly everything was arranged. You will witness the convergence of preparation, prayer, and perseverance, resulting in a life that reflects God's glory and goodness. Your mindset for this year must reflect expectation, faith, and gratitude. Approach each day believing that God is working behind the scenes, and be ready to act when doors open. Speak life over your circumstances, declare hope over your setbacks, and trust that every step you take is leading you toward divine restoration. 2026 is not just a calendar year, it is a divine opportunity for recovery, growth, and breakthrough. What you receive this year will surpass what you lost, and what God has planned will far exceed anything you could have imagined or earned on your own. This is your year to rise, to be restored, and to walk in the fullness of God's promises. When praise becomes a daily habit, it transforms your life in ways that are both visible and invisible. It shapes your attitude, strengthens your faith, and aligns your heart with God's will. Daily praise is not just about singing songs or speaking words of gratitude. It is a deliberate lifestyle choice that declares your trust in God no matter the circumstances. When you make praise a consistent practice, you are teaching your spirit to focus on God's power rather than your problems, His provision rather than your lack, and His promises rather than your fears. Over time, this daily discipline builds resilience, hope, and a deep sense of peace that cannot be shaken by storms, setbacks, or opposition. Daily praise trains your heart to see beyond what is happening in the moment. Life will always have challenges, and there will always be days when nothing seems to go right. But the person who praises God every day learns to rise above temporary circumstances and anchor their hope in something eternal. Praise keeps your vision upward when the world is pulling your gaze downward. It reminds you that God's plan is bigger than your setbacks, stronger than your struggles, and more faithful than anything you face. Each morning that you begin with worship, each evening that you close with thanksgiving, you are sowing seeds of faith that will grow into tangible breakthroughs. The habit of daily praise also strengthens your spiritual immunity, just as your body becomes stronger through consistent exercise, your spirit becomes stronger through consistent worship. Praise fortifies you against doubt, fear, and negativity. It creates a spiritual environment where the presence of God is invited in and the influence of the enemy is diminished. When you make it a practice to thank God for what you have, even when what you want hasn't arrived yet, you are exercising faith. You are declaring that God is trustworthy and that his timing is perfect. That kind of faith produces results. It moves heaven, shifts atmospheres, and opens doors that human effort alone cannot open. Another benefit of daily praise is the clarity it brings. When your mind is consumed with worries, frustrations, and unanswered questions, worship redirects your focus. It reminds you of God's past faithfulness and strengthens your confidence in his future plans. This clarity allows you to make decisions from a place of peace rather than panic, to act from a place of confidence rather than fear, and to respond to life from a place of faith rather than frustration. Praise also strengthens relationships because a heart that is grateful and worshipful is more patient, loving, and compassionate toward others. Consistency in praise develops a mindset of victory. Each day that you choose to praise, you are training your soul to see life through the lens of God's goodness. Over time, this mindset becomes your default response to challenges, setbacks, and unexpected obstacles. Praise becomes a shield, protecting your heart and mind from negativity. It is the foundation upon which faith grows, hope flourishes, and breakthrough is made manifest. When praise becomes a lifestyle, it ensures that victory is not occasional, it becomes your standard. No matter what happens, you learn to rise, to thank, to trust, and to declare God's goodness. This is how the smallest moments of worship accumulate into a lifetime of triumphs, and how daily praise transforms ordinary days into extraordinary testimonies of God's faithfulness. In essence, daily praise does not just prepare you for victory, it ensures that victory becomes a natural, ongoing experience in every area of your life.